Yes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to United Sauce and Wingers. It is a Monday night, obviously, because it's a Monday night sauce show every Monday at 7 p.m. And we are joined by the lovely Soph. How you doing, Soph?
I'm doing very, very well. Thanks for having me on firstly. And yeah, in terms of United, I'm sure we'll get into that, but I'm doing good, thank you. And I hope you both are as well.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I appreciate you coming on, Soph. I've always said, and I've tweeted about that, there's not enough female representation across football as a whole and Manchester United. So I'm so glad you can come on. And obviously we've got Sean over there. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, what's going on, mate? How are we doing? So welcome. Good to have you on the show. I was just touching on what Dom said. I was like, how mad is it that Man United have only had a women's team for 2 seasons? And in 2021, like,
I know.
It's crazy, but obviously we got it now. The team's so good though. I've been watching them like the last couple of years. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I've played for Wolves like since I was 7. So it's like everyone's like, "Oh, why you play for Wolves? Why don't you play for Man United?" And I'm like, "They don't have a team." Like it was mad growing up, and now they do have a team. And it's like I'm too old for that now, but back in the day, like definitely it would have been exciting. But I'm just glad because Man City have been taking obviously all the glory. It'd be nice to have the red side in Manchester actually stand up. And this season, to be fair, like you said, they have been standing up. And a bad result the other night, yes, but on the whole, progress again for the women's team.
Yeah, honestly, I love hearing that. Let's get straight in the comments. What's going on, AG? Let's go. Marco, my guy, it was birthday yesterday. Hope he had a good time on Valentine's. You know what I'm talking about. Big up the man, Dem and Sophie. Let's go. Clis, what's going on? Big up everyone. Shad the Dom, what's going on? DFKM, love that guy. Guys, this is going to be a good show. And what we're going to talk about today is honestly on the backdrop of what happened yesterday. I feel like I've broken up my wife after 10 years because she just don't love me no more. Like that's the relationship I'm in with Manchester United. It's toxic, man. It brings me up, it brings me down. I don't know what I'm thinking or what I'm doing. And I just want to, what I've seen a lot is that people are thinking about, oh, this is so bad. What is these? The VAR, the defenders, the team. Is Ollie right? Is it? But when I don't really think we're doing solutions. And I'm a solutions man. When I'm at work, I'm thinking, okay, if there's a problem, what's the solution? So this is what this show is about. What are we doing and what are we going to do? And what do we want the team to do to get over this? Because this could potentially get worse. And I don't want it to get worse. If we look at what teams we've got, games we've got coming up, Real Sociedad, Newcastle, again, Real Sociedad, Chelsea, Man City, West Ham, Leicester. There's some tough games. There's some tough games there. Guys, before I carry on, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Again, thanks so much for joining. We love you guys. So I'm just trying to big this up now and think about where do we go from here? What do you think the actual issue is first? If I'm going to come to you both and say, where I don't know if we've got enough time, but what's the actual issue, Soph? What do you think? What's going on at Manchester United, our club?
You know what? I think the main thing is obviously we talk about investment in the board and whatnot, but for me, mentality is a massive issue. Like that first half yesterday, we didn't look complacent. I don't know what we look like, but it seems like semi-finals, like that stat doesn't lie. We reach semi-final, we're not making that next step. I just think there's a mentality thing that runs throughout, and I do think Ollie is slowly getting rid of that. But I still think there's elements of it, like top of the league, and we say, and then all of a sudden we just capitulate. And I think it is a big mentality thing, and I just feel like until we get rid of that problem, we're going to struggle massively. And of course, there's other issues on top of that, but this is something that I think we've struggled with post Fergie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Sean, what do you think the issue is, man?
Bro, I think there's a lot of issues. It's like you said, I don't know how much time we've got, but I think, on the mentality issue, it's definitely relevant. But for me, I feel as though simply it boils down to the current squad and the current players that we have. At the moment, I feel like we are where we're supposed to be. Like, I don't think we're any better or any worse than where we are at the moment in terms of what we're doing, where we're at. We haven't got a title winning side. The fact that we're even in a shout to even contemplate having that conversation is testament to me, to the manager, and what he's been able to do with this group of players. Because with the mentality that they've got, we know they're weak. We know the weaknesses. We shouldn't even be in that conversation. So for me, we've got to continue clearing out the dead wood, shifting out the players that don't have the right mindset, don't have the right mentality, and keep this rebuilding process going, because it's moving in the right direction. There's green shoots everywhere, but the squad that we've got right now simply is not good enough to compete at the very highest level with the top teams in Europe, and that's just the way it is.
Okay, so Sean's saying that the team's not good enough to compete. Do you think we have a team that could play better than we're playing now?
Defensively, you have to say, like, we can definitely improve. We spent 80 million on Maguire, and we all know that's not the answer, and that's just a ridiculous amount, let's be honest with it. But at the end of the day, we had to pay it. But for me, the Lindelof and Maguire, it just doesn't work. And I've said it for years. I remember saying it to Mr. Aaron United pre-season, like literally stood there doing the fan cams, and I remember saying to him, Lindelof, vulnerable physically, like he gets brushed off the ball all the time. And I think when the ball's on the floor, he reads the game really well. He's not slow, he's fairly quick. But physically, like West Brom yesterday, their tactic was to put that guy, stand him on Lindelof, and just lump the ball up, and he'll fight and he'll win something, whether it's a knockdown or whether he'll win the ball. Like, they know that Lindelof is a weak point. And I'm not saying Maguire has been amazing either. He's been awful. But my point is that partnership. Like, when I see that starting lineup and those two as the centre back pairing, immediately I'm like, we're going to concede. I don't go into a game and think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I don't enter any game thinking we're not going to concede here today.
So why are you getting it, Soph? Why is Sean? Why are we all getting it, but somehow the manager is not getting it? Because I've said it. I'm not for this whole sack Ollie. I'm not for it, because if we sack Ollie,
is it Ollie though not getting it? Because for me, Boye, everyone's saying, "Oh, chuck Boye and he deserves to start." We all know he's made of glass. We all know he can be a bit erratic. Ollie wants someone who we can trust, and I think the case at the moment is he just trusts Lindelof more than Boye. Preferably, I think we all know we need a new centre back to come in. So for me, it's got to fall onto the board again and not investing and not backing Ollie. You know what I mean? I think Ollie's only got limited tools to choose from. We all know Boye, we love him to bits, but he is a nutcase. You can't exactly trust him, can you? And he's entertaining to watch. I'll get that, but as a manager, I think he'd give you a heart attack. So I kind of understand Ollie in that sense.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I feel for him in that way.
You know what? That's so true as well. Because if you look back at all the different managers we have, they all have the same thing in common. They all came out and said, I wasn't backed. For a fact, Moyes said that he wanted to get Gareth Bale on the flicking plane, wasn't backed. Flicking LVG wanted to buy the best players. Jose said, I didn't get the players I want. And now Ollie, for a fact for me, Ollie didn't want Van de Beek. The board and the whole Manchester United said, look, we got a steal here. 40 million. Real Madrid want him. You need a player. Flicking just take him. But now you can see why Ollie didn't want him, because for the system that Ollie wants to play, right or wrong, for me, I don't like the football we're playing on the eye, but what it is. For me, Ollie doesn't know how to play Van de Beek in the system that we have. And this is a problem. Like, the board is not doing what's right. And again, I keep going back to this, Sean. People keep saying to me, what can we do then? What are the solutions? Because again, this show is about finding out what are the solutions. How can we do this? How can we get better? The one thing we haven't done, and we haven't done of all the managers we have, we've not got a DOF, and we haven't got a good DOF. I'm saying to go out and get an established, a good experience, a good track record DOF, because at the moment we're not protecting any of our managers. If you've got someone, you've got a team, you work in the business world, right? You've got a manager to potentially and basically protect you, to get the best out of you and protect you, right? Ollie's not got any sort of protection, or all the managers haven't got any sort of direction in terms of what they want to do. So when you've got Jose, Moyes, and all these people trying to find the best player, and the board's just doing whatever they want, who's held accountable for it? It's the manager. The manager's accountable for it at the end of the day. So I feel like we're going to be in a cycle. If we bring in Nagelsmann, the football will be 100% better. It's a fact. It'll be better on the eye in terms of how we play, for me, because Nagelsmann plays a certain brand of football that people of today's world like to see. But how's it going to work if he wants to bring in loads of players, but the board won't do it, or get rid of loads of players? You know what I mean, Sean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I completely agree. How long have we been advertising for this role of director of football, or how many press releases have they put out to say, the role's coming, we're looking, we're doing this? And we've had Ferdinand, everyone and his dog has been linked with this position, right? But here we are now, 2 years down the road, they haven't brought anyone in. So it's clear that there is a resistance to it within the club, whether that's Woodward. I don't know. I don't have the answer as to why we haven't done that yet. I do feel it will be helpful to have that consistency in, because I feel like in terms of what we've done over the past 8 years in terms of changing the manager constantly, you're having to start over and over again, and there's been no consistent pattern, and that's why it's taken so long for Ollie to fix this, is because of all of the disruption. He's working with three managers, sets of players. And if you look at, and Aidan always uses this one where he's always talking about, you know, look at Chelsea, look at Bayern Munich, look at this club, who they can chop and change their manager and still produce and still win. That's because their structure and setup in the background is consistent and is able to do that, right? We don't have that setup and that structure, so you cannot apply that same logic to Manchester United because the structure simply isn't there.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So, do you think we can actually win a trophy with Ollie? Like, being completely honest, do you think we can actually win a trophy?
Of course, Dom. There's no reason. If I I believe that, there's no way.
Trophy,
oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
I like the energy anyway. You carry on.
Your name's Sean, by the way, man. What's going on, brother?
I didn't hear. Sorry, man. My headphones must be my headphone.
No,
it's good. Yeah, I do. Well, of course we can, but I do think this mentality issue. Obviously, top of the league and whatnot, and being in a title challenge, it was nice to hear that. It was nice to be back in the mix, isn't it? But I think ideally, I mean, I said at the start of this season on my channel, a realistic target for me was narrowing the gap between the top teams, Liverpool, City, and us. You have to say Ollie is doing that. And you talk about the different managers, players, and whatnot. He's slowly trying to get some of the deadwood out. You can see that. I mean, I've seen like Lingard balling at West Ham right now.
Yeah.
He's their main player at the minute. Do you know what I mean? I think he's slowly trying to get these players out, like you say, to work in progress. And I do think we're back on the right track. I appreciate, like, tactically sometimes Ollie frustrates the hell out of me, the lateness of his substitutions and whatnot. But you can't help but unsee the work that he is doing. And the fact that we are in that mix and the fact that we're up there is a credit to him, because you say, obviously, last season, let's be honest, we crawled to get what Champions League places, didn't we? Like, it was one of them seasons where nobody really wanted it. Everyone was bottling it. And we kind of picked it at the end. It wasn't, like, convincing at all. We're just looking at everyone else was as crap as us, really, last season. That's the only reason that we got it. But this season, I do feel like we have stepped up. We've seen it. We've narrowed that gap. And yes, Liverpool have had injuries, of course, and whatnot. I get that. But I just feel like we're up there and we're thereabouts. And I think Ollie deserves credit for that. And I don't think the job, like what he's took on, is an absolute massive job. And I think he's slowly working his way through that. And I think everything, you've already mentioned it, Ollie gets blamed for everything. Everything is on Ollie. But I do think there's problems. Even if he was to change the manager, you could get anybody in tomorrow. I don't think much would change, because I think that the issue is in the background.
Agreed. I completely and utterly agree. It's no point. I feel like, when you get a new build in the flicking England, and you don't get new builds sometimes because you know they're going to have some cracks. There's been cracks that the flicking glazers and the board have just been literally just painting over. Or put a mirror there. Oh, put a nice little bit of flowers there. They won't see. We can see it. And the proof is in the consistency of how we play football. Look, if you look at Man City, okay, there's a difference why. Even though they had a little bit of a kind of drop off a little bit, we always know they're going to be there or thereabouts. They're always going to be there or thereabouts. And now look how they're performing, because they brought in a DOF, a system, they brought in the right players, and they've got a top quality manager. They got a top quality manager. I don't know why we didn't go for him, and people might say whatever. For me, he plays a brand of football I like to see. And that's just me personally. I like to see us have the ball, have possession. And that's just me as personally as a football fan. Some people just don't care how we play football, just want to win. And that's completely fine. I like to win games by playing that brand of football. That's just how I've been growing up. I like the pass, the move, so that's why I love Van de Beek, because in a RP Leipzig system, I think Van de Beek would flicking thrive. The guy would be walking the pitch with flicking maracas going, yeah, let's play some flicking football. Do you know what I mean? He would have the time of his life. But in this system and the way that Ollie wants to play, Van de Beek is not playing. And people keep thinking, oh, Van de Beek needs to play. Yeah, I get that 100%. But to actually make Van de Beek play well in this team, we're going to have to change the way we play football and change and start playing people that we're actually not playing ever. Mata wanted to play with Van de Beek because they have that sort of intelligent IQ way of thinking. They're not going to do that at the moment. So I feel like we put in a rock and a flicking hard place. Like, so when I keep thinking about this, right? We lost to Sheffield United. They were 20th, and we were their second win. They're playing Phil Jagielka. Then we go to flicking West Brom. There's a guy up front called Diana, whatever his name is, Diganaga, whatever his name. I don't even know how to say it right. And he was absolutely all over our defense, terrorizing us. I think they had 5 big chances, and we had 0. So there's people out there who say, look, this is enough for me to see that even though we need to change the structure and we change what's happening, the football's not good enough. I'm not you, so first, what you say about that, and then I'll come to you, Sean.
certain personnel not being good enough, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Defensively, you'd have to say we just didn't look secure enough. Personally, did we need that McFred in there yesterday? I don't think so. I think if Fred didn't start and we had a bit more going forwards, I think it was a bit too defensive. I think that way you control the game in their half more, so that I've less of a counter attack. Tactically, that's what I mean. I think Ollie does deserve to be criticised, but at the same time, Lindelof should be doing better with that. I don't care what anyone says. And we're sitting here talking about a draw. That could have quite easily been a loss, by the way. He could have had a hat trick. You know what I mean? He could have had a hat trick. So that's what I mean. Like, we've got lucky there, and it's not the first time that we've seen games where we haven't played well and we've scraped to win at the end of it, and that kind of papers over the cracks. So I'm not under any illusion that the football's been good enough. I get that completely, but I do think, like I say, lack of investment, especially in the defence, is proving it's going to cost us. And also, I think a lot of time we're a team who, and you can blame Ollie, you can blame whoever for this, but we rely on individual brilliance. We rely on a player to do something. Bruno Fernandes, 9 times out of 10, is that guy. It's been Pogba in the last few months, let's say, as well. We rely on a player to individual. How many times do you see us actually play for a team? Do you know what I mean? Like, we rely on like a wonder goal from somebody, or it could say a penalty or a free kick. We just don't look fluid for me, and I don't think Ollie's got that balance yet. And that's, like I say, that's why I do think he deserves criticism. I don't think we've still found the perfect balance in our lineup. Greenwood on that right hand side is for me, he makes us look more balanced when Greenwood's out on that right hand side, because Rashford, he may as well not be there when he's out on the right. You can tell he's not comfortable playing in that way. Defenders know just to show him on the inside, and he's not going to be as effective. It's simple, isn't it? But I just think like the whole balance of the lineup, Ollie still hasn't got that. But I feel for him in a sense. I think it was obvious he wanted a natural right winger in Sancho in the summer. He didn't get it, and he's kind of trying to fill that spot, isn't he? Diallo is a player I'm excited about, and I'm hoping he can be that guy now. I think we should forget about the whole Sancho thing, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I feel investment is the thing that's cost us the most. But like I say, we should have controlled that game a lot better yesterday. Can't tell me the players that we had on the pitch were not good enough to beat West Brom yesterday. That's a fact for me. Yeah. Agree, so regardless of the manager, you could literally play that 11 and say, go and do what you want, and they should still be good enough to win that game.
Okay, that's a good point at the end then, because I was about to. I'm playing devil's advocate here, so if I'm looking at what I'm seeing on Twitter, what's going on. All right, you said that we do too much individual brilliance, and people would say, okay, that means that the manager and the coach, whatever it is, they're not doing enough, so that we don't have to rely on individual brilliance. Because what we've seen with Man City is that even if they have a little bit of a slump, their football, they always revert back to the system. If their players aren't playing well, they haven't got Aguero who bangs in goals. So they're like, you know what? We've got to revert back to our normal system of playing football. And look how they're doing. And now Gundogan's stepping up who never steps up really, and is now this elite player because they've gone back to the system and now individual brilliance on top of that. So what will you say to that then? If people say, all right, you're saying individual brilliance, but why can't Ollie make the team we have now play better football?
So people call him fraudiola at the start of the season, though. I think people forget that. Like, teams have dips at the end of the day. That it happens, and I think we are in a dip at the minute. Like I say, we were lucky to get that draw the other day, and I think a lot of people got carried away with the whole title talk. I mean, like I say, it's a nice thing to be involved in and whatnot. And I definitely cheered, but like celebrated it enough on my channel when we were top of the league. I said it enough, of course, because it's been so long since you've done it. Like, I get it, but you have to be realistic. Like, I don't want to. I think Neville said it actually in commentary. Like, I'm more worried now, not about us catching City, about us falling into that fight for the top 4. Like, that's what now we should be avoiding. We should be staying in clear second and keep it that way. And I think that's what Ollie should be instilling in the players now, focusing on ourselves and obviously winning every game as it comes. But look, Pep's a quality manager. There's no doubt about it. He's a tactician, and people calling him fraudiola, they're just idiots. You know what I mean? It's just a banter, isn't it? You want to try and put City down because you know for a fact they're going to come bouncing back, and that's exactly what they've done. But look at the investment that he's had at Man City. Look at the investment. Look at the players that he has signed, not the board have signed, that he has signed. He spent like stupid, was he like 250 million on fullbacks or something in that first transfer window?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They brought
He's had the backing.
They brought Bravo, Edison, flicking. They brought about 3 keepers in one season, I swear.
Cole Walker and whatnot in that same season where they bought like loads of fullbacks. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's had the investment and he's had plenty of signings that have failed as well. A lot of people saying Ollie's had the investment, but we spent 40 odd mil on Van der Beek. Like you said, is that even an Ollie signing now?
Well, an AG's here saying that we've had too many dips though in one season. What would you say to that?
I'd agree. We're not consistent enough to be a title-winning team. Of course we're not. I completely agree. And like I say, I think we need that investment. We already know there's a core of players who failed managers previous to Ollie, managers post-Fergie, that need to be gone. Like, our squad isn't good enough. And I think Donny coming in, to be fair, he gives us more squad depth. Like, compared to our bench, now we've got more of an option off the bench. But we need more players, don't we, to fulfil that bench. At the end of the day, I think we've still got too many players who you'd probably say are past it now on our bench. So, I think that we need to be more consistent. I think investment obviously will help that. And I think Ollie, if he is given that back in, that's where he now needs to prove that tactically he's good enough, because at the minute I think he can kind of play that card. Oh, I didn't want this player, or oh, I've not got the player that I want now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
What happened to Lampard, to be fair, Lampard had the backing. He couldn't back that up with performances, and then he went. And I think that was harsh, to be fair, by the way. I'm going to get in there. I do think it was harsh, but at least he got the backing. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think Ollie's had that.
Yeah, no, I hear you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whenever you watch this, whenever what you're doing, I don't know what you're doing on a Monday night, but thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. So we got Soph on today from the HairDryerTreatment YouTube channel as well. So getting her thoughts. I can see West Ham are winning 2-0, and they're now fourth position. They're 4 points behind us. That's scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Moyes, right? Sean, we're in a situation where other teams are still making a claim. We're all over the place. Tell me what the situation is, because Soph just said there that Lindelof, we know Lindelof's got a mistake in him, but then people could say, all right, if Lindelof's got a mistake in him and we know that Maguire and Lindelof don't work together, why is Ollie still playing them?
She covered that as well.
Tell me why they're still playing them from you.
This is exactly what Soph said. At the end of the day, it's like you're picking the best out of a bad bunch, right? We know that Ollie would probably, in an ideal situation, not have to play Lindelof. He and I'm pretty sure he wants a new centre back, but ultimately he hasn't got another player who he can trust instead of him. You're picking from a pool before Rojo got sold of Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, inexperienced Axel Tuanzebe, and the forever injured Eric Bailly. What is he supposed to do with that?
Tuanzebe absolutely pocketed flicking Mbappe, so you can't do it against West Ham on the 19th.
He's still young though, isn't he?
He's young, he's inexperienced, and he's missed a lot of football. He's come back from a lot of serious injuries. And as a player as well, like, once it's hard to regain that level of conditioning when you miss so much football, especially at his age, where he's making that transition from youth football, reserve football into the first team. Yep, he had a fantastic game against Mbappe and Neymar in that game after he was out for 18 months. He just comes in and puts on a performance like that. But consistently, we've seen in other games, conversely, where he's been absolute shambles and he's looked like the worst player on the pitch. So he's
saying that he should be integrated already.
And he would have been if he didn't have his injury. I'm pretty sure last season, Ollie came out and said at the start of last season, Tuanzebe was his third choice centre back. He was on the bench ahead of the likes of Bailly and and Phil Jones. And then he came on, played that game, broke up his knee, and since then it's derailed his transition and integration into the first team. So that's just unlucky. It's bad luck.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think we're in a situation where there's an argument, right, that we shouldn't be getting caught up so much on individual brilliance or individual errors or VAR, all different things, because if we play more as a collective, these things won't be so much of a highlight. Do you see what I'm saying? Because when you see the bigger teams, and I hate saying the bigger teams, I mean, it's sick, but I'm just saying it. When you see the teams that are being successful at the moment, being completely honest, they defend as a team. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, right, you got the what do you call it? Maguire.
So which teams are you talking about when you're saying these teams?
Mate, I'm talking about what do you mean teams? I'm talking about Man City's people that won.
Oh, so you're talking about Man City. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Man City. People that have won anything in the last 2-3 years, mate.
You said big teams.
You said teams as in
so people that have won things, right? If you look at them, right, we've got Maguire and Lindelof. We know they're the Chuckle brothers. We know one day the ball's going to go across them. They'll both look at the ball and go, mate, to me, to you, and it's in the back. We've seen it. We've seen that they haven't got pace. They haven't got pace. We've seen it. So when you've got them two, that's supposed to be your reliable centre backs, and then you've got De Gea, who's shot of confidence, doesn't come out for the ball, and they're getting that confidence and that nervousness from De Gea, and then you've got the team that aren't really defending as a team. There's too many holes. So for me, couldn't you plug that by making defending better as a team, as you see like the likes of Liverpool, or when they were playing well in Man City, they all go towards the ball. Why don't we change the way we defend in the meantime, because we haven't got the right defenders?
Tom, I agree with you, mate. And I would say a lot of that it comes down to the mentality as well of the players that we have, right? I agree 100% as well what you're saying. The way Man City defend at the moment, which is not like Pep to have them defending this way, but he's had to adapt, which is kudos to him as a coach. But if you look at the way they're defending with 11 players behind the ball, we don't have our wingers, and I was speaking to someone about this the other day. Our players, especially our forwards, are putting too much pressure on a defense which isn't good enough to withstand it, right? So the likes of Anthony Martial, the likes of Marcus Rashford, they need to do more. If you watch the games, they don't have a willingness and a desire to do it. They probably do it because they know if they don't, they get shouted at. But that intrinsic desire to come from them, if they didn't have to do that defensive work, they'd be happy to stand up the pitch all day long and just wait for the ball to come. So they need to do more. And that comes down again to the individual players wanting to do that work, wanting to put in the hard yards, having that mentality. Look at the running Bruno and Cavani put in. No one's telling them to do that. That comes from them and their mentality. We've had it in the past with players like Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez, and it's no coincidence. David Beckham, I could go on and look at the work rate of the successful players. Ryan Giggs, all these players, they had that intrinsic desire to put in the hard yards and hard works defensively, not just when you're standing up the pitch and got the ball at your feet. And too many of our players right now have that mindset, and that is why it's leaving our defense exposed. And we know that with the defense we've got, they're just not cut out for it. They can't withstand the pressure.
It really frustrates me because I've backed Maguire for a long time. I've backed him, and I know for a fact if Lindelof played in like a Barcelona team, he'll be fine because they play like a completely different team.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand that the football that Ollie's going to do will never be tick-a-tacker, flicking, pass and move. It's never going to be like that.
It's never going to be that.
And that's why some people want Ollie out, because that's not the football they want to see. If you look at the younger generation are growing up watching the best teams in the world play football, and they're benchmarking us against those teams. And how do those teams play football and win leagues? By playing attractive, fluid, pass and move football. The Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, the PSGs, they all do this. All the people that win the Champions League play that football. At the moment, we're not playing that football. Some people are saying it's down to the flicking players that we have. But even if we had the best players, we're then saying that the Sanchos, the Grealishes, all the flicking people up front, they've got to go out and just make it work. Whereas people were like, why can't we get a system where that when they come into it, they make it work? Because, guys, I want to be honest with you, I'm looking at both sides. We've made a lot of players worse than they were when they came over. I've said this before.
Hold on, Dom. Hold on. Do you know why I have to pick you up on that? Because we're always talking about the current management, right? If we're talking about Manchester United as a whole in the last 7 years, since Fergie left, I could 100% agree with that statement. We've had a lot of players that have come to us as well beaters or high prospect players with high growth potential, right? That have come into the club, and it's almost like the example I love, the one that uses the Space Jam example. It's like all their power has been sucked out of them, and then they're gone, right? See you later. But since Ollie's been in charge in the last 2 seasons, can you give me an example of a player he's done that to? Because I can't see it. So that can't be leveled at Ollie. I'm not saying that you're directing that, Ollie, but I feel like we need to distinguish that Manchester United in the 7 years previous, that's one thing, but the current regime with Ollie at the helm, that does not apply.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to say to you,
so why are we talking about it?
No, I'm talking about it because we're in a situation where we could bring people into the system and they could easily flop. That's what I'm trying to say to you, mate. We don't have an agile system at the moment where we can cater for different systems. We play 4-2-3-1 no matter what. We play Scott McTominay and Fred no matter what. We should not have played Scott McTominay and Fred in that game because against low blocks, Fred is useless.
I agree with that. I agree.
What I'm saying. The agility of how we play is not good enough at the moment, and that's why I brought it up. Because if we bring someone in to this system and without this agility, they might be rubbish. They might be crap. And that's why I bring this up.
That's a hypothetical. Yeah, it's hypothetical.
Everything's hypothetical, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about a freaking game that's going to happen or not happen. Everything's hypothetical. I'm saying that in this situation, I want to have a club where people jump onto the treadmill and they just keep up the pace.
But
not
Dom,
stop it.
But again, Dom, you could say that. Look at Man City. Has Pep not brought people into his system and they've been rubbish?
Yeah, no.
Look at Mangala. Look at Negredo. Do you want me to go on? I could go on and list you. This Super Pep system. This Super Pep system. Been rubbish.
No, but what Man City won in the last?
But we're not talking about what they've won. We're talking about players coming into a system.
What do you mean?
And no, Dom. You're saying if we had a better system, you could bring people in and they'll be great. I'm saying you could have that system, and equally, if we're talking hypotheticals, you could bring them same players into this wonderful new system, and they could still be rubbish. As case in point, the signings that Pep's made, he's brought them into his system. It didn't work, and he's had to ship them out, even up to the goalkeepers, the fullbacks. So what I'm saying is that the fact that you've got a defined system doesn't guarantee that people you're going to bring are going to come in and it's going to fit.
I get that, but this is the situation I'm trying to say. We've made new signings and it's not working. It's not working.
But you say it's not working.
Well,
our points tally says it is working. Mate, our league position says it is working.
We get to 15th place. You're going to say,
I am, of course, because I'm about results. And whilst the results are going well, I'm gonna. You can't argue with results.
Yeah, I get that. You know what I think where we differ? I think long term, Sean. I think long term. My thing is, okay, we're gonna have these things, but how can we sustain the way we're playing and the way the system is at the moment and the way this club is based? It is not sustainable. It's not.
I think the issue is though. You mentioned like games like West Brom. Like for me, McFred didn't need to play yesterday. McTominay and Fred. Look, Van der Beek could quite easily played in that midfield.
Yeah,
that's not down to the system. That's down to the personnel that are picked and like the roles they're given. Do you know what I mean? I think like we didn't need two midfielders to sit up front yesterday. And second half, you saw McTominay pushed forward a little more, which Ollie had obviously told him to do. But for me, like we didn't need to start with that in the first place. And I think that's where Ollie's lack of experience probably comes in for it, because he's just gone for what's safe.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He's gone for what's safe. But and like you say, we don't want to see that. United, we want to see a bit more risk, and I get that. And I want to get back to the pressing thing you mentioned as well. Bruno and Cavani, great examples. You'll see them press, but they're turning around and it's literally triangles around them because they do it on their own. But you can say that's down to the mentality of the players and whatnot, but you have to say that the managers and the coaches have to practice, because it's hard. I've done it myself. Pressing is not easy because you all have to do it at the right time. You have to shield the players behind you. Like you need to work on that, and I just don't think we've worked on that enough. And I think that it does affect us, like you say, it leaves us vulnerable at times, especially when you do it in ones and twos because you played around and that's where the holes form. I get it. But I think that both sides, I think sometimes I do. I mean, I'm a big Rashford fan, but sometimes I'll admit that he looks a bit half-assed when he's trying to press people. He doesn't really want to do it. I get that. But I think Ollie, tactically as well, and Carrick and whoever else wants to get involved with the coaching, they've got to drill the players, because it is hard to press. Like teams of the calibre they're playing against as well, they'll just tic-tac around them, like we've seen it happen. And I just think we need to know what games we can play McFred in and what games we can take a bit more risk. And I just think West Brom yesterday was a game where we needed to take more risk because we invited them onto us, if anything.
And I agree. I totally agree with that.
Guys,
I totally agree with that.
Thank you so much for joining in and in this. We appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you're new. I want to talk about Maguire's comments here as well, because lots of people talk about mentality, and that's so important. It's so important. You got to have good ballers, but you have to have winners out there. And I'll be honest with you, we haven't got a lot of winners in our team, and there's nothing wrong with that if they bring the right attitude. But the attitude is lacking at the moment. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Soph, about Maguire's comments. It says, "I'm fed up of hearing people saying people can do better. David De Gea can do better on the cross. It's a foul. It's a foul from Billy Sharp on David in the recent game. If you get someone in the back, and if the big striker is wrestling Vic and then puts his arm all over him, heads it in the back of the net, of course he can do better, but it's a foul." What's your thoughts on that comment?
It was a foul. Like, I do think he was literally like gouging his eyes out. I do think it was a foul, but I don't like, especially for a captain, I don't like hearing excuses.
No.
I don't care that they scored that goal. For me, it's how we bounce back from that. We're not like, it's not unusual for us to concede first. It's how we bounce back from that. And yesterday, in that first half in particular, we literally ambled around the pitch like we just couldn't be bothered. And I'm thinking, where's this fight coming from? The second half we were a bit better, but still nowhere near as good as what we should be. So regardless of conceding first, for me, I expect us, if that's really how you're feeling, if you're really that annoyed at the decision, you go out and you score 3-4 against them. Do you know what I mean? That's the fight you should be showing, and then talk about it afterwards.
That's it. No, I completely agree. Sean, what do you think about these comments, man?
Yeah, do you know what? I completely agree with Sophie. It's just like too many excuses from Maguire. Like, I can't imagine our captain Roy Keane ever coming out with some crap like that.
And by the way, sorry to interrupt you, Sean, but he wouldn't have moaned if that penalty was given, would he?
Yeah,
exactly. So it's just like, nah, man, just if that's how you feel, you're better off not saying anything and just focus on actually what you can control, because at the end of the day, you cannot control the refereeing decisions. So why are you even talking about it? What can you do to affect that situation and to avoid that situation happening again? Focus on what you can control, man. Too many excuses coming from him. And I'll see it again and again and again with Maguire. He's got, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's his body language when he missed that header yesterday, he's like slapping on the floor. I'm just like, it's
Mate,
not what you want to see.
Honestly, I never ever want to see our defenders flapping around like a flicking
I thought he
duck.
was going to start doing the worm. He dropped to his knees and his arms went. I thought,
Yeah, it's like what's going?
Honestly,
What is that all about?
That's our defender. Our defender's going, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'm sorry. Look, my take on this, right? They're both completely soft. Completely soft. They do not fit our system at the moment. The way we play football, it doesn't fit. If we play a completely different brand of football, a Barcelona-esque or whatever, where it's more of a team game, they would fit more because they wouldn't be exposed, right? But we don't play that football at the moment. So they are too soft. Lindelof saying he went over. It was a foul. I get it. But I'm sorry, Bailly in that position, I put my house in it. That guy is putting his whole life on the line and literally, either he's knocking a guy out with his head and it'll be a concussion, and I hope he's all right, or he's getting that ball. And that's the difference. He's not strong enough mentally and physically. I've seen other players who are half the size of Maguire being stronger than him. Why?
Did you see that Maguire going down in the second half, like ton of bricks? Like he literally just tapped him on the hip. I'm like, what's he doing?
Yeah, he's got to stop it. It's starting to look bad for him.
I mean, I don't want to sit and slate individual players because I'm not about that. And I fully hope that Maguire obviously bounces back from this, and I hope that he proves himself. But you can't defend. Ironically, that I'm saying defend right now, but you can't defend stuff like that when he literally just falling to the floor. Last man as well. Phil Jones would be clearing it with his head from that position.
Phil Jones would be like this.
Do you know what I mean? But he just falls to the floor and expects a whistle to blow. And I'm grateful for his sake that nothing came of that, because that was shocking.
I love both of you got some anger in it. I love it. Yes, so
bringing that heat.
You know what, right? I'm thinking I love this because you know what, I want to do something different. I'm going to go for the team. I want you to imagine, right? Sean, you've played football. So if you've obviously played football, I've played football. When I played, I was a lot skinnier than this, so I can move around. I'm 18.5 stone now, so I ain't playing football like that. But if you were a manager or coach of Manchester United, I'm going to go for the players, and I want you to tell me if they would be a part of your team. Okay, if you would sell them, right?
Okay.
Oh gosh, here we go. All right, and this is based on what we want this man. What's going to work tactically? If they're strong enough mentally, if they play the right football in your team.
Can we justify and say I'd sell him because we'd get someone else instead? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah, you sell him and get someone else instead. 100%.
Because if I sell him, I'm selling both centre backs. That means we've got Phil Jones left and Tim and David.
No. Yeah. Right. Put it this way, right? You can buy 3 players in the summer. Okay. And that's realistic. We'll probably get about 3 players. Max,
Yeah.
So you got 3 players, Soph. Sean, you got 3 players. And I'm going to go for the team. And you tell me right now if you're keeping them and they're part of your title-winning team, right? We're going to first go with De Gea. Sean, are you keeping him or not?
And I've only got three transfers to make. That's a hard. Do you know what? I'll give him one more. I'll give him De Gea.
This summer.
Am I selling him? Oh, selling him this summer.
This summer.
You know what? No, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
375 grand.
So who's going to be keeper?
We got to find it. Yeah, we got to find a keeper.
Wait, is that one of your transfers then?
No, what's that?
Is that one of your transfers? You're going to get a keeper?
I'm either going to go with Henderson or I'm bringing in a keeper. It depends what he shows me till now, the end of the season. But I've made my mind up on De Gea.
Okay, all right. Sean, getting rid of De Gea. What about you, Soph?
I would keep him for this summer, and hopefully Henderson kind of pips in for the number 1. I think Henderson learning from him right now is good experience for him.
Okay.
I wouldn't waste money on a keeper yet. I think Henderson's a good backup.
But Sophie, as a spine, your goalkeeper is essential.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And I feel like De Gea right now, he's got to be questioned because it keeps on happening.
Yes, I completely agree. But for me, that's why Henderson's there, isn't it? Like, I personally would rather see Henderson get a run of games for a little bit now and see if that inspires. I mean, look at the start of the season. De Gea, everyone's like, De Gea's back. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like Henderson being there is a good presence. We saw what happened with Luke Shaw and Telles. Drop him for a few games, put Henderson in, and then hopefully, like I say, Henderson for me will be England number 1 in future. I'm hoping he will. But he needs to be playing consistent football to do that. So you know what I mean? For me, him learning from De Gea, look, yes, he's made a few mistakes, no 2 ways about it. De Gea has been a class keeper for us, one of the best in the world. And I just think learning from him is good experience for him. And I personally would like to see, not buying another keeper, I'd like to see Henderson taking that number 1 eventually.
But you know, De Gea can't teach Henderson how to catch the ball though, right?
What do you mean? Henderson?
Right now, no.
Sure, no, because Soph's been real here. She's still got 3 transfers. You got to decide right now if you.
Oh no, I'm not using one of my transfers on him. I'll promote Henderson. If you remember, Dom, in the preview, I would have started him. He was in my starting lineup for that game.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, for me, I'm getting rid of De Gea. I'm never personal. I love the guy. I'm sure he's got a lovely family, good, gives to taxes and charity. I love it, right? But this is based on football. For me, De Gea is too soft for me. He's regressed back to De Gea when we first bought him, and people were like, "Oh, he's got to go to the gym. He's not loud enough. He's he's too meek." He's gone back to that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, he can do saves like he did that last game with that Diana guy, Digne, when he did that double save. Fantastic, right? But that's what you're supposed to be doing every game. I need someone who's going to come on out. Henderson's got a little bit of fight about him. He's got a bit of grit. Have you ever seen him? He's like, come on.
Yeah.
He's
got more presence. More presence, more commanding. That's what we need.
So I would say the only thing at the minute is distribution. I don't think is as good as De Gea's. I think that's something he does need to work on. And I think to be a United goalkeeper, you've got to be good at that. And I'm not saying he's awful at it, but I just think that's something he needs to work on. Yeah,
I'm not. I'm getting rid of De Gea and it's just literally just keeping Henderson up there. And we've got Lee Grant. We still got Romero on the books. You never know.
Romero,
we still got.
I feel for Romero, man.
I feel bad for that guy, man. Yeah, Ollie's done him dirty. I think Ollie. That's one player. I think Ollie's done a bit dirty, especially last season when he dropped him for the semi-finals. I thought that was a bit off. Yeah,
no, that's not good. All right, I haven't used my transfer yet. None of us have used a transfer yet. So now we got to be a little bit quick on this. We've got a whole team. We got right back AWB. I think we all agree we keep him in our team.
Inspector Gadget, keep him, man.
Yeah, all keep easy.
Spider-Man.
Let me go to left back. We're all keeping Luke Shaw. That's a given. He can win the title with Luke Shaw.
And Dennis.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Keep it. Are you sure?
Are you sure? I don't know if Shaw's like a call on his mobile or something.
No, we keep him.
Right, now we go to the centre backs. This is where we get a bit weird. Sean, are you, and I'm going to do it together, all right? Are you selling Lindelof and Maguire? Both what? This summer?
You ain't going to get 80 million for Maguire, I'll tell you that now.
Nah, we can't sell him. We can't sell him.
Well,
I don't think we'll probably even sell Lindelof. No, I won't sell him. They're both dropped though, and I'm definitely using one of my transfers on a centre back. 100%.
What, you're keeping both of them?
Yeah, I'll ship out. I'll try to. We've got to get rid of Phil Jones first, and for me, simply down to the fact that he's not reliable. If Bailly doesn't stay fit as a runner games, if I don't see Eric Bailly fit for 10 to 15 games consecutively between now and the end of the season, I'm selling him because he's had 5 years. His contract's coming up to an end. I'm not giving him a new contract. You haven't shown me you're worth that contract, that you can stay fit over 5 years of consistent games. So for me, as good as you are, you've got to go.
All right, so you're keeping Maguire and Lindelof. Just to give you a thing, Maguire's on 190 grand and Lindelof's on 120, but you're keeping both and buying another centre back.
And then I'm demoting those two to the bench. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I don't know if I'd sell both of them, but the thing is, my centre back that I wanted was Upamecano, just gone to Bayern. So it's all right sitting there saying I'm going to sign a centre back, but Sean, I want to ask you this: like, what centre back are we signing then? Like, who in your mind is? Yeah,
this is the question I've been asking everyone and also myself. Like last season, I wanted Upamecano, but the more I've watched him, and after the final straw in the coffin, the nail in the coffin for me against signing him was seeing what Rashford did to him at Old Trafford.
For a hot dog.
That convinced me. I said he's not the guy for us. It looks like he's going to Bayern. I quite like the look of who's this Koundé guy that they're talking about. He looks like a top centre half. But when I was looking, it was a hard one because I'm thinking, okay,
I'm seeing like Tyrone Mings linked to us, and I'm like, no,
please, no.
That's what I mean. Like, it's pointless getting rid of them if you're just going to get similar caliber of player in. Like, who out there right now is realistic?
That's the thing, right? So you got to look at who can we bring in, and nobody has got like a clear answer on that because there's not that many out there.
Him.
You would take Ramos?
Yeah, I'd take Ramos.
Interesting. All right, so let's come to you because we've got to finish this off. Would you sell Lindelof and Maguire?
I would keep them now, to be honest, not start them. Okay. But I'd bring Ramos in on a free because I think like his experience would be good for them. To be honest with you.
You're saving the money, Sean. All right, okay.
Call me Woodward. Penny pinching.
So save the money. All right, so we all agreed that we'll keep them because we haven't got any centre backs really. We've got.
I agree with Sean on the whole body thing though. He needs to prove his fitness. I agree with that, and obviously Phil Jones. I'll get rid of Phil Jones.
Yeah.
I think the only thing they'll miss with Phil Jones is that picture of him taking a corner. No, I'm only joking, but that was legendary though. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing.
And those bloody pink boots.
I'll never forget
that was
going. I just
feel it's a shame really because Phil Jones obviously came with high expectations and whatnot, and I feel from the injuries and whatnot as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like for his own career, I'm sure he'd agree that a move surely it's got to happen.
Right. So bearing in mind, so Sean, you used one transfer already for your centre back.
Yeah.
So if you use one transfer, but technically you've still got 3 because you got on a free for me. That's how it works here. No, Sean, I'm sorry. That's how it works.
Fair play. Fair play.
I do whatever I want. So.
I got a discount code. It's all good.
Yeah. This is a discount. Yeah, discount code. Yeah. All right. So we'll keep it. I'll do the same thing. We haven't got enough centre backs to start fishing out Lindelof, Maguire. We haven't, and unfortunately, we've seen that when we have a fast centre back who's strong and plays next to them, they improve. Even though they shouldn't improve by just having someone better, they should be better by their own right. But that is what it is. All right. So cool. Now we move into midfield. I'm going to go for a 4-2-3-1. Right. We haven't got a CDM here. Sean, are you getting rid of? We haven't got any CDMs, mate. Are you keeping Matic this summer?
Am I keeping him? I'm not sure what's his contract situation. What's his contract situation?
I think he's got 2.
He got an extension, didn't he?
2 years left.
Was it 2 or 3 years?
He's got a 3-year contract.
2, I think.
Do you know what?
He got 2 left, doesn't he?
2 left.
I'm still keeping him around for that experience and his professionalism in the dressing room still. To bring on the young players. We've got a lot of young midfielders that are coming through, the likes of Medjbury, Hannibal. We've got Garner on loan. Hopefully he can come back. McTominay's still learning. So I'd keep him one more year in the squad. He's not going to play every game. He's hardly going to play, but I wouldn't sell him because I still think he offers something to the squad.
So are you using your second transfer for
No,
CDM?
not to displace Matic, no.
Wait, so no, but are you using your second transfer for any CDM of any kind?
At the moment, I haven't got a player in mind that I'd want. So
Ndidi for me. Ndidi.
A lot of people say that. Yeah, a lot of people say.
Ndidi.
Mate,
I'll be honest.
Surprised you haven't used. You're not going to use your second transfer on
a CDM? But because I haven't got. I wouldn't want to buy Wilfred. If we bought Wilfred Ndidi, how much do you have to pay for him? Right, 80, 90 million. You know, Leicester are going to bump the price up crazy. I wouldn't want to do that. I just wouldn't. If you could name me a player now, Dom, who you would take in. Tell me, who would you bring?
I'd probably bring. Do you think Neves is a CDM?
You're not getting him. He's a good player, but you're not getting him.
Why are we not getting him?
He ain't been that good this season, though.
Yeah, but maybe.
But to be fair, Wolves haven't been that good this season.
This is what I mean. Maybe he needs a new challenge. He is a CDM and he's got a shot in him. So for me, I'll go for Neves.
And how much do you think it would take
to
get
him?
Though,
what? Someone said that in the chat. That's a good shout. Declan Rice is another player I would take.
I'd take Declan Rice, to be fair.
Sure,
would I go out for
no,
I'm not. No, I'm still not doing it.
Let me just get this right. You're not using your second transfer for a CDM in the summer. You will never be coach or DOF for Manchester United. I'll tell you this right now.
I'm not doing it, man. They're not the right player for me. I don't want Declan Rice, a good player, but I don't want him. Yeah, I don't want him. And do you know what it reminds me of? It was like when we were trying to replace Paul Scholes, and every season we're like, we need a centre midfielder. We need a centre midfielder, and every year. Fergie, he went for a couple, but he had to wait. I think Modric he wanted to come in. And I think he went for Snyder. But other than that, the players weren't there.
Jemba, though? What about Jemba?
Oh, thanks. Jemba. Bloody hell. So yeah, I haven't seen the right one yet. I haven't seen the right DCDM.
It wouldn't be nice to me, as your friend, to let you go down like this. You need to tell me and tell everybody, are you saying you wouldn't buy a CDM in the summer?
I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the right one. And at the moment, you're asking me right now.
It was Valentine's yesterday, Sean.
I'm saying to you, you might not know who the right one is, but are you using the second transfer?
If I can find the right player, I will, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so you are.
No, I don't know. Right now, as you're asking me, no, I can't think of the player. So no,
guys, I really apologise for Sean. Please stay with us. Don't leave. So, what are you doing? Are you buying a CDM with your?
The Matic one. I think if someone comes in for Matic, where we can actually get some money for him, I'll be tempted. But other than that, like I'm happy to let him stay there, like Sean says, for his experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, indeed, your Declan Rice would be the two that I'd be looking at as a midfield signing.
Okay, so you used your what? You got 4 transfers now, so you've used 2. All right, and
I want to sign both of them. Just one of them.
Declan Rice or Ndidi.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good
But
point when you said
did
that Sean had
they
the money for Ndidi because Leicester like rinsed us from Maguire.
Yeah, they're gonna rinse us.
But we'll find something. We'll find something. That's
Yeah.
not the point. We can't just
And
not
so
we can't find them.
To be fair, DKFM has a good point. Basuma is having a decent season at Brighton as well. But for me, Declan Rice or Ndidi. But I do think he's had a decent season.
Yeah, there's no way we don't go in summer and get a CDM. That is the most. We haven't got a freaking. We've got one CDM.
Dom, to be fair though, in defence of Sean, you sound super confident that our board are going to do the right thing, and I'm not.
Yeah, I know. This is why I'm in charge.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing who that player is.
Yeah, me too. But okay, you've still got 2 transfers left, then, Sean.
Yeah, I'm saving them. Yeah,
you are something else. All right, fine. For me, I'm definitely getting a CDM. We've got only one other CDM in Matic, so I have to keep him. He's on 120,000 a week. But if we get another CDM, by God, we've got 2 CDMs in our team. Fantastic. Yeah. There's no way I can get rid of Matic. So we pressed on, right? Say we're playing a 4-2-3-1. Whoever's playing it like next to Matic, we need basically a CM. For me, I'm putting it out there. I'm probably getting rid of Fred. And it's not because he's not done well for us and he's not good, but for what we do, we use him as a kind of a combative midfielder when we haven't got possession against.
Can I ask though?
Did you say you're selling Fred?
Midfielder?
Sorry?
But what? Go on, Sean.
Sorry, I was just asking. So Dom, yes, just to clarify, you're going to sell Fred this summer.
If I get, I'm going to get an upgrade on the CM.
And also, just to bring into that, which I didn't actually factor in, is Pogba leaving? Because if Pogba's leaving, we have to bring another midfielder for me.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
In my ideal world, though, no.
Right. Let's agree the circumstances. Are we all saying Pogba's leaving or are you staying?
I'm saying he's going.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, if Soph he's staying because we just make it. Yeah, that's a point. All right, as a manager, my team, Pogba's a part of this midfield. He's staying.
But if he wants to leave, what are you gonna do?
I'm making him stay.
He won't want to leave him, my manager. I'll make him the main guy. He wouldn't want to leave.
So, all right. So if Pogba's staying, I'm staying to what I'm saying. But if Pogba leaves, then we have to bring in a midfielder. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I'm saying Fred. I love him. He's great, but we can get an upgrade on Fred for me. That can defend. I think Basuma is an upgrade on Fred.
Basuma upgrade on Fred.
Yeah. Fred scored bangers, Fred scored bangers in the past, and then we've signed him, and it always falls to him outside the box. Always falls to Fred. It's like swinging a golf club at it. I don't know what it is, but it literally it's like straight leg, like he cannot shoot at all. I don't know what's happened to him. It always falls to him.
This is what I'm saying. Like Fred gets too many opportunities. I'm like, no. You know, when you do like a roulette, you're like, don't do red, flick in, black, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me, we can get an upgrade on Fred for a fact. He's not the be all and end all of Manchester United as other players. So I'm sending Fred and getting an upgrade in the likes of, there's loads of people out there. There's loads of CMs out there we can get. So have I used 2? Yeah, I've used 2. I've got a CM and centre back. I've got 1 left, haven't I? Flicking out. This is hard. This is hard.
Well, right. Bruno's staying.
That's done. So let's go to the wings. Let's go left wing or right wing. So are you keeping Rashford, Martial and Greenwood?
Yeah.
Is that to me?
Yeah, go on, Soph.
Rashford's staying.
There he is.
Nah, I think we need it's the right side that worries me. I love Greenwood. Is he long term a right sided player or is he central? Do you know what I mean? I think with Greenwood, I still think we need a player on that right hand side, a natural winger. So I don't think we have that. I've already mentioned Rashford. Like defenders know, show him inside on his left. He's nowhere near as effective. He's better on that left hand side.
Yeah.
So that right one is the one that I would be looking to invest. But who? Because personally, Sancho, that ship has sailed, and I don't think we should go back in for him. What's your thoughts on Sancho? Would you go back in for him? Is he like they were quoting 100 million? Like for me, nowhere near that.
I've heard them say they're going down to 50 mil. That came out.
That's what I mean. I think if there's a reduction.
Yeah, it came out yesterday in the paper, in Twitter and the papers.
All right, so yeah. If for 50 million, you snap their hand off. For 50 million, I'll go to Germany and sign the contract for them. You've got to take him for 50 million.
Is that one of your signings then, Sean? You got?
Yeah. Right wing is essential. Like we've needed it. We haven't ever replaced Ronaldo. Valencia came in, did a little bit of a job there. But like for me, the reason Sophie talked about earlier, the team is in balance, and she doesn't feel the balance. It's because we haven't got the players to play a balanced lineup. Yeah. Like you're either sticking out Wan Mata out there, Greenwood out there, Rashford out there. Some people saying Donny van der Beek out there. Some people say Bruno out. Like Pogba's even played out. Pogba's played out. We haven't got a specialist player there. So for me, that is, along with the centre back, that is the crucial position.
Yeah.
I get CDM is important. It's just we got to find somebody. So yeah, I'm using the transfer there for sure.
All right. So you've got a centre back, Sean, and the right winger. So if you've got Ramos on the free, cheeky. And what else have you used? You got right winger as well?
I said over Royce or Ndidi as a centre mid, and then right winger.
And you got one more left.
I agree. If Sancho is reduced, I completely agree. But I just thought the price that was quoted for him, 100 million, I can understand why Woodward didn't bite at that, to be honest.
And this is why I would get rid of Fred. Not that I don't appreciate him, but could you imagine if we can get De Jong? Because Barcelona are in a whole heaps of trouble. Could you imagine we've got a freaking, I don't know, a new CDM and De Jong sitting next to him?
No, I can't imagine that because it's a fantasy. It's not happening. Like these fantasy, it's not Football Manager. It's not FIFA. We've got to get real out here, man.
Wait, no, I'll be honest with you though. If the money was right, what do you mean we can't? We've gone for some audacious players and got some of them. We've got Falcao, mate. Anything's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was crap.
Yeah, no, he was rubbish, wasn't he?
Not a good example.
So we're going up to striker. We've got Cavani. Greenwood is a striker. Rashford, I'm not putting him up there. He's not a striker for me. Are you keeping Cavani this summer? Soph?
Yeah, I would keep him, but I still think we need to invest in a proper striker. Haaland, obviously, is always spoken about. I can't see that happening, but I would love to see that happen. So, yeah, Haaland I put on there. Another player I'd love to see United, and again, it's not going to happen, is Harry Kane, man. But I think we need that kind of mold striker, proper goal scorer. I think Cavani has shown us that, like, his experience, his movement in the box, his finishing. I just feel like we need another striker of that nash. I don't think you can rely on Martial. You've already said Rashford to get so many goals a season. So I feel like we need that goal scorer. Haaland or Harry Kane for me is a striker I'd like.
And that's your last one, right?
I'm being a fantasy world. Yeah, it's my last one.
Look, Sophie, that's a nice that she's used all her transfers. She even got a free. You know what I mean? Sign her up. You know what I mean? Sean, Marco's saying, Sean, so you saying we can't pull quality players away from top teams? What are you saying to that, brother?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that particular player, I just feel like, you know what? And there is something to be said for that, because if you can give me the top signings, the top players around Europe, when we've gone out for them, the likes of De Ligt, when he was available, like there's so many times where we're like, get this player, and it rarely comes off for us. If there's anybody else that's interested in the player, I feel we're not going to get them. So that's why I say a player like De Jong, I could just not see him coming in at all from Barcelona to come and join Man United.
No, I don't think so, man. When they smell the Manchester United, they're like, I know they're going through a tough time, but if they get sold a story like, look, we're trying to build something really good, and we're going to give you 300 grand a week, they'll be like, yeah, see you later. Do you know what I mean? Some people. So
show me one player we've signed from Barcelona.
No, I'm not saying that. That's based on the players we've flicking, the managers we've had. No one wants to play that sort of football, and also the board's never letting them play that sort of money, because De Jong would be a lot of money, mate. A lot of money.
Yeah, you two mentioned about Pogba going. Like you obviously feel like he's leaving in the summer, yeah. Listen, I'm talking real life now, not a lot of fantasy. Jack Grealish, would you take him?
100%. 100%.
As like a replacement.
Yeah, 1000%. He doesn't fully balance our team again, because we don't necessarily need. He plays, for me, he's playing either off the left or he's playing inside behind, in similar to the Bruno position, and it's like I don't feel he balances our team, but he's that good. You need him in the squad.
Yeah,
like for me.
You know what he does? He pulls teams with him. Aston Villa were absolutely nothing without him. They did a masterstroke keeping him and giving him on a 5-year contract. He pulls teams with him. And what he does, right, that he actually does better than Pogba, is that he draws everyone to him. He's like a bee in honey, man. When he starts to go on those runs, 5 defenders have to go with him. And all of a sudden, you've got flicking McTominay or Scotty McTeeny, whatever you want to call him, on the edge of the box doing a flicking shot. I like Jack Grealish because he plays hard and he likes his football. And you know what it is? He's a street baller. He's industrial. The guy's not wearing any shin pads. He doesn't care. He is,
but they're like this big.
Honestly, you know, when you play football, you just want to look good playing football, because you know when you say you go to the gym, right? You try to buy the nicest gear, because when you train, you feel better in that gym gear. You're like, yeah, I feel good. Jack Grealish goes out like he's like, you know what? This is my time, and we need that arrogance. We need that arrogance, but my only one thing I'm worried about is that all the players that we've mentioned, are any of them winners? we haven't got any winners really. And that's my only thing. We haven't got anybody who's got the mentality that I've done it before. Let's do it. Only Ramos really, who would come and say, look, I've done it before. I know what it means. Pogba, we've got a winner, but look how that's worked out. He feels like he's doing it by himself, and he wants to, I tell you right now, if Pogba went to another team, Juventus, whatever, he'd win trophies straight away. And that's my only thing. How can we get that balance of youth with like Sancho and Grealish and stuff, but also get experience, because that is what we're missing.
But imagine if we keep Pogba, and I'm saying imagine because obviously it looks like he's going to go. But imagine if we kept Pogba, got someone like Ramos in as well, mixed him with like Cavani. You're getting that winner's mentality, and you mentioned the spine earlier, but you're starting to build that winner's mentality through the spine. And then adding in the flair like to Sancho, someone with a bit of grit in there like Ndidi or Declan Rice, like that starts to feel more balanced then.
It does.
And obviously we're talking fantasy and whatnot, and obviously I'm not sitting here saying no signings are going to happen, because I never have any faith in signings happening, to be honest with you. But just imagine if we did manage to keep.
But would you want Ramos, Sophie, after he played us the last time for that new contract?
No, look, don't get me wrong. He's one of the players, Ramos. Like when you're playing against him, you absolutely hate his guts. It's a bit like I don't know, Diego Costa, that kind of player. But to have him playing for us, like people already hate United. Imagine if we have Ramos at the back, like people will hate us even more. Like I think that he's got that leadership. We lack that at the back. The fact that we're all over the place at the back is because we're relying on Harry Maguire, and I think it's quite obvious that he isn't that leader at the back.
But as Ramos is, though.
That's the one thing that you'd say you're worried about. But people said that, to be fair, about Cavani.
Yeah.
It's about his experience. I would argue that he's a yard ahead in his head because he's so well experienced and he knows the game. He reads the game well. The only thing I worry about with Ramos, and he's done it throughout his whole career, he's always got that mad red card in him. Yeah. But I kind of like that as well. Do you know what I mean? I like that bite and that bite in a player. That's why I always love the likes of Raphael, because he just had that. And Rojo, to be fair, Boy is another example where they've just got that wire loose at time. But you'd fear playing against them. I just don't think at the minute people fear playing against Maguire and Lindelof.
Mate, Maguire do a tackle and say, you know what, that weren't good, and go and get the red card from the ref out of his pocket and say, look, I'm sending myself off. That's the mentality and how soft he is at the moment. I need someone who's flicking kneeing people in the eye, grabbing their balls. You know when you ever play football and you got the defender, like when you're going for a corner or whatever, and they're pinching you, they're trying to hold you and getting you. I'm like, get off me, because they're trying to mess with you mentally and get in your head. I don't see that fight and that vigor and that, come on, guys.
Yeah, we ain't got it.
I'll never forget that video, that we hear that clip going, oh no, Rashford, just leave it. He's giving it. I'm like, what do you mean? Leave it? You should be freaking going for it, saying, no, ref, no, forget that. Like, I know, look, everybody's got different personalities. You haven't got to start doing a rap or doing a cartwheel and say, but just in your own way, in your personal way, try and stand up for the team. Stand up for the team. And that's what we're missing. We need people that want to get on this journey and go for it. Because I'll tell you right now, if we get another manager in, they're going to want their players. We're going to be in this cycle. They're going to want to get rid of loads of players. We can't get rid of all the players because it just doesn't work like that. Even on FIFA, if you try to sell loads of players, they say, sorry, you can't sell any more players. It happens like that. And it's going to be this endless cycle. We need the structure to change. And this show was talking about, look, we talked about who we would like in the squad to balance it. And that's so important. That's one of the solutions. Because this is, look, the show was, is it time to panic? What's going on? Because it's been so poor. We've said who we'd like to get, who we want to buy. We said where the issues have been as well. And we're trying to figure out where do we go from here? It's a mixture of the board. Basically, if we can't move the ball, we need to get DOF so that the DOF can go, all right, I'm trying to come in here, but even the board not allow me to do my job. They might get exposed. Could you imagine if the DOF goes in there and said, look, you've hired me to come in and do football. If the DOF then goes out to all media and says, you know what, even I've tried to do it and this board's rubbish, the board might have to back down a bit. So we need to get a DOF in, a good DOF in, and see what he can do. We need to get the right players in to get that balance, and we need to get this right mentality. For me, that's how we move forward. Sean, talk to me.
Yeah, my third signing is a striker, by the way. So I'm going all out for Haaland, even though he's got that idiot Rayola as his agent. Yeah. I'm not allowing any release clause in there. You have to negotiate something, but I feel like we still need an out-and-out goal scorer, like a Cavani, but a younger version. And I feel like Haaland, he's the next. He's going to probably be one of the best strikers in the world in his career. So if we can get him in at this age, he's the guy I want. And I was so gutted last season when we missed out on him. So yeah, for me, that's my three.
I like it, Sean. You've come into a good place. Let me just finish with the comments. I like this. If Grealish comes in, Rashi and Marshall will be on the bench. You know what? This is what I love competition, though. I love this.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
This is
This is Man United. We need that. This is Manchester United. No one should be comfortable in their starting place. No one.
And then DFA came and said, unless they step it up. Exactly. If someone comes into your, whatever your job, whatever walk of life you do, if someone comes in and they're kind of doing the same role as you, you're stepping up or you'll just get eaten alive. That's what it is.
Dom, this is something I want to pick up. Actually, really good point and a good timing, right? When it comes to Tony Martial, right? People are looking at him this season. What's going on with Tony? Why has he dropped off form? Where's his confidence gone? And for me, as much as I like the guy, I think he's a fantastic talent, great player, amazing prospect. I have to think there's a mentality issue there because we saw this dip in form when he gets put out of place and his nose gets pointed out of joint. When Zlatan came in and they took the shirt off him, he sulked for like 2 years, took his number away, and we didn't see that level of performance. But that's what he did. And then Ollie came in, put his arm around him, stroked his head a little bit, made him feel good, right? Gave him his number 9 back. And then we saw last season, he woke up again. Same as coming now. Now Cavani's come in. He's been pushed out of his position, how he sees it as, I'm the main striker. I'm Tony Martial, right? He's been pushed out to the left again. And I feel like his mentality is dropping. He's not rising to that competition. It's letting it get to him. And we're seeing his performance dip because I can't see any other reason for it. I do. Absolutely, I do. Because as a player, again, you know, being in that dressing room, you're a young player. He just had his branding done. What was it? M9. And then Zlatan comes in and you're pushed out to the side, right? You just spent all that money. So I get it in terms of the dynamics in the dressing room, but the top mentality players will say F that, right? Yeah, F that.
I was going to say, look at Luke Shaw, though, with Tellez coming in, and look at the difference in him.
Yeah, Luke Shaw's leveled up.
Do you know what I mean? I want that.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's the mentality for me. And that goes back to what we're talking about, the weak mindset and the weak mentality of players. For me, that's where it's showing up in Tony, and he really needs to deal with that because that's a problem.
Yeah,
I think with Tony though, he's one of them players. Sorry, Dan. I was gonna say, if we were to sell Tony tomorrow, let's say, I know for a fact that we're going to regret it because, like you mentioned, he is a special talent. I 100% agree with that. But at the same time, like you mentioned earlier, we're Manchester United, and I think if it is a mentality thing, and he's just going to strop whenever it's not going his way, then we don't need that. Especially the time we're in at the minute, we need fighters.
Yeah, we do.
And that's what I said, Soph. I've said it as well, and I've said it to Dom. We've talked loads about it. I said if Tony doesn't buck up his ideas, he will become the next Jesse Lingard, and he'll be out the door by 28. He will not survive at Man United if he doesn't buck up his ideas. And people might be looking and be like, what are you talking about? But what I mean is that when Lingard was in, we had a front three playing, and it was like, when you're trying to build a team, you're trying to improve, one of them has to come out. And it was Lingard, he's gone, we put in a replacement, Greenwood's come in. And for me, if Tony doesn't buck up his ideas, he's going to be out, and he's not going to survive at his club.
Yeah, I agree. And people agree with you as well. I hope he's agreeing with you, Sean. Guys, thank you so much. It's been one of those situations where I feel better about it because I'll be honest with you, I ain't got a clue what's happening against Real Sociedad. No one does. I don't even know if Ollie knows what team is going to turn up because he can put the team up and then he's got a plan. He's told what the plan is, but something's happening at the moment where the players don't believe in themselves and they get sulky and their heads down and they're like, oh God, we've gone down again. Guys, anybody got any individual brilliance anywhere? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's a hard time, but look, we just got to stick together. We got to absolutely stick together. We got Real Sociedad on, what are we doing? Monday today?
Thursday. It's Europa League, mate. It's Thursday. Oh gosh, yeah.
Thursday, so but it was Friday football. I think there's a big tournament on tomorrow. I don't know what it's called. Some sort of league.
The Masters is starting or something. Isn't it?
Yeah, the Masters. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think they call it Champs League or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway. It's a good match starting tomorrow. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been flicking real. So thank you so much for joining us and giving us your thoughts. It's been an interesting couple of days and weeks and months with Manchester United. But so do you just want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, firstly, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And obviously, best of luck with the channel. Guys, make sure you subscribe. And I saw someone said you're near 400 in the chat. So
yes,
help them out, guys. Hit that sub button. Yeah, my channel is HairDryerTreatment. So please go and subscribe there, guys. I'm almost on 15k now. I feel like I've been on that for ages. So if you could head over there and hit that sub, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, we've got the Ladies in Red show coming back this week. All of us are reunited. So that should be really good. I'll tweet out about that. And on social media, it's at Soph Richo on Twitter. And then it's the same, just with a kiss on the end on Instagram.
Amazing. There, she taught so much good. I love seeing this. And I've always followed Soph from United Stand days.
Thank you.
When I went on United Stand as well, I saw her on there as well. So thanks so much for coming on, Soph. And then you got this guy called Sean, top right. Jesus. Go on, Sean.
Yeah, hit us up. Grow Football. You know where it's at. Always keep it real, keep it 100, and that's what you're gonna get. Guys,
I appreciate it so much. Have a freaking beautiful evening, whatever you're doing. I'm gonna go and get some food now. I'm hungry. Maybe a salad. I'll see how I feel. I'm not getting a salad. Peace out, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, like the video. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.